Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi my loves, it's Destined Choice and you're watching Choice TV. So now that I got all my sponsors out the way, it's time for the real content to come back. It's time for the documentaries, the breakdowns, and so on and so forth. Now I know a lot of you guys who clicked on this video, clicked on this title, are probably in the comments right now like, who gives a fuck? Why bring this up? Because a lot of you guys are probably saying right now, which is a popular opinion, is why is a dead man's criminal past so important in present day when he's no longer with us to defend himself? And I agree. I think it's really disgusting, but a lot of this actually started because of the house Negro, Gayle King decided that it was okay to justify interviewing one of his friends to bring up his criminal past. I know some of you guys may be thinking, why does it matter what Kobe did in his past? He's not here anymore. Let it go. Why is the world so concerned about a dead man's criminal past? Realistically, although he isn't around to defend himself, I do think that it's right to hold people accountable regardless of if they're not with us anymore. You know, at the same time, Kobe did do a lot of good for the community and he did create an entire legacy for himself. But at the same time, saying that we can't talk about the fucked up things Kobe did is like saying that we can't talk about the fucked up things Elvis Presley did. Because I find it funny how a lot of people love to bring up a dead man, especially a dead black man's past. You know, they did it with XXXTentacion, they did it with Michael Jackson, they did it with Kobe Bryant, they've done it with Gary Coleman, they did it with so many black men who are elites in this game. But no one ever kept the same energy with Elvis Presley, who was a known pedo. But that's another video. So like I said, we all have a right to hold Kobe Bryant accountable, regardless of a lot of you guys are going to say, he was acquitted, he was found guilty. No. Actually, Kobe Bryant wasn't found innocent nor guilty in the case that he was dragged into in 2003. In fact, he actually got his case dismissed because the witness refused to testify. But I'm going to explain that in a little bit. I'm going to break down every single thing and a lot of things the public doesn't talk about. Because I was trying to scroll for more information, but it seems like a lot of things have been swept off the internet. And I decided to present all you guys with all the information that I discovered. Now, if you guys aren't too sure who Gayle King is a 65-year-old stellar media icon. She's a massive broadcast journalist. She's also the head and chief editor at Oprah's massive magazine, and Gayle King has really paved the way for herself. You know, she's been grinding out since the early 1980s, and she's been in this game for over 40 fucking years, and she's now the host and anchor of CBS in the morning. Now, all this started last week on February 5th when Gayle King decided to interview the 47-year-old Lisa Leslie, legendary WNBA player. And basically, she wanted to ask Lisa Leslie about her life, her legacy, and so on and so forth. And for those of you guys who didn't watch the full interview, because I know most of y'all didn't, the full interview basically depicted Lisa Leslie's life. The interview quickly shifted from Lisa Leslie and turned into some biased bullshit, which led to Gayle King somewhat trying to coerce Lisa Leslie into answering certain questions and trying to hold Kobe accountable.
Force. Is it even a fair question to talk about it, considering he's no longer with us and that it was resolved?
It's like if you had questions about it, you've had many years to ask him that. I mean, it went to trial.
Yeah, with the cases, it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify.
Aggressive in that way. That's just not the person that I know.
But Lisa, you wouldn't see it though. As his friend, you wouldn't see it.
And from there, shit went fucking haywire. Things got really, really ugly really, really fast because those few selected clips that I just showed you went viral overnight on Twitter. And you guys know how Twitter gets down. You guys know how cancel culture gets down. People were dragging the fuck out of Gayle King.
Fuck ass, fucked up, fuck Gayle, and fuck Oprah. Y'all are some self-hating pieces of shit fuck asses. If I have never seen a coon more fucking coonier than goddamn Gayle and Okra. I'm over y'all.
The only woman that would do some shit like this is a woman that's not getting no dick. By looking at your face, I could tell you haven't had a dick in a very long time. Your pussy has not gotten wet in a very long time. You probably have to add water to your period. I don't even know if you even have a husband. Is there a nigga out there fucking you? Because I've never seen Mr. King. Nobody has seen Mr. King.
Funky dog head, bitch. How dare you try to tarnish my motherfucking homeboy's reputation, punk motherfucker. Respect the family and back off, bitch, before we come get you.
A lot of people are holding Gayle King accountable for this because y'all don't realize that Gayle King is that token black girl CBS in the morning. There's only a few people that work at CBS who are black And Gayle King is one of those few people. So because she's that token black person, she's doing nothing but playing a role in the propaganda. And you guys know there's a constant pattern of white media trying to paint black men in a horrible fucking light. Specifically because when these men are gone, they can't defend themselves. They want to interview their past. They want to go into their future. They just want to do a whole bunch of nasty things and spread propaganda about black men who aren't here to defend themselves. Oprah was also dragged into the outrage, and all the black media and entertainers labeled them as coons. All the black media labeled Oprah and Gayle as coons because the reason why Oprah was dragged into this scandal was because Oprah has a very nasty past of trying to exploit black men. You guys remember all that backlash she got from the whole Leaving Neverland documentary? Oprah also decided to make a Russell Simmons documentary about his Me Tooers. Now, if you guys don't think about Russell Simmons, you guys know he has a very nasty history of sexually assaulting women, allegedly, and Oprah Winfrey was going to get all these women together, interview them, and make a whole 3 to 5 part documentary on their lives and allegations. Now, crazy enough, Oprah decided to back away. Now, the thing about Oprah has a very disgusting, nasty past of trying to exploit, belittle black men of power since the 80s. But that's another video. Not only that, after Snoop Dogg threatened her, a lot of people decided to defend Gayle King and turned into a whole stop coming for black women, don't villainize black women, when in reality, I don't think that's the case in this situation. After Snoop threatened her, if you guys didn't know, Al Sharpton, a huge, massive civil activist, decided to come on TV and defend her. And while he was defending her, 2 white journalists decided to tear down Snoop Dogg and bring up his criminal history, even though he was found innocent.
Even though we may disagree with some of her judgment, let's not desecrate who she is.
And again, the media's silence has been deafening. People, I'll just say it, like Katy Perry, who worked with Snoop in the past, people like our dear friend Martha Stewart, who's working with him now.
Well, Viacom CBS has a show on VH1.
It's VH1. Will it be renewed? I mean, this is it's time for people to actually speak out. Again, let's just keep this very simple, because it is very simple. A black female journalist asked a tough question in the middle of a wide-ranging interview. And because of that, her life was threatened. Quote, "We're coming to get you," from a man, it must be remembered, who was arrested for murder.
Arrested 11 times.
We're coming to get you. And the New York Times doesn't write an editorial about this.
But what about the time that woman called Kobe the N-word the day he passed? Keep that same energy. Yeah, so you see where I'm coming from here? There's a hidden agenda, and people like Oprah and Gayle King are pawns playing on this field. And of course, after all the death threats that Gayle King received, Oprah Winfrey wanted to cry her $1 billion white tears.
Kobe, and I just wondered just how she's doing.
She is not doing well. May I say she is not? She is not doing well, because she has now death threats.
Now, don't get me wrong. Is it right for people to send Gayle King death threats? No, it's not right at all. But this is my thoughts on Gayle King getting death threats. All well, and I know that might sound kind of fucked up for a lot of people, but I'm in the industry where I talk about people for a living. You know, people call me all types of black bitches and this and that, or you're this, or you fat fuck when I see you. You ever come to Chicago, I'm gonna beat your ass like a bongo drum. You know how many times I get those comments? But it comes with the territory. So Gayle King, for you to sit up here and be like, oh my God, shut up.
So I've been told, or I've been advised, to say nothing.
Oh, boo-hoo!
For people who didn't see the whole interview is very upsetting to me, and that's something I'm going to have to deal with them. And there will be a very intense discussion about that. I also want to say this. I have been with Kobe Bryant on many social occasions. He was very kind and very warm to me, and I felt that we had a friendly relationship. I, too, am mourning his loss, just like everybody else.
Oh, my love, we know you have some problematic friendships. Shut up. Y'all asses, Oprah and Gayle King, y'all just mad because people aren't eating out of the palms of your hand. They're so used to being America's darlings that they're not so used to people giving them shit and giving them criticism when they do something wrong. It comes with the territory. People are allowed to hold you accountable. You can dish it, but you can't take it. Let's talk about Kobe's allegations and why it's important for us not to overlook them. I want to speak on why it's important for us not to overlook them because it seems like a lot of this gets swept under the rug. You know, a lot of media outlets didn't cover this, and a lot of you guys probably don't realize this, but Kobe Bryant was a very powerful man. And although, like I said, a lot of black figures like to demonize black men after they're gone, I'm not going to play in that agenda. Instead, I'm going to look at both perspectives and address the entire issue. Now, here's a quick breakdown of Kobe Bryant's past and his allegations, in case you guys all didn't know and are still very ignorant to a lot of it. On the night of June 30th, 2003, at the Lodge and Spa Hotel in Colorado, the 24-year-old Kobe Bryant checked into a hotel because he was getting knee surgery the next day. That's when he met a 19-year-old white woman who was in front of the desk. She was a front desk clerk, and she checked Kobe Bryant and his whole entourage in. The 19-year-old girl claimed to be a fan of Kobe Bryant, and she wanted an autograph. In fact, she was actually supposed to get off at 7 o'clock at night, but instead she stayed a little bit later because she wanted to meet Kobe Bryant and get a chance to get an autograph from him. And as Kobe checked in, Kobe later requested that the woman, the 19-year-old white woman, decided to give him a private tour. He requested that the white woman give him a private tour and show him around. According to the 19-year-old girl, she showed Kobe Bryant the resort, the on-site facilities, which included the spa and the gym, the outdoor pool, and so on and so forth. Later that night, the two allegedly returned to Kobe Bryant's room at 11 o'clock at night, according to the white accuser. She claims, and she says, that she sat down and talked with Kobe Bryant for a few minutes. She also claimed that after a while talking with him and sitting on the bed with him, she felt a little uncomfortable and decided to leave, considering her shift was over hours ago, and Kobe refused to let her leave. The accuser stated, and I quote, "I stood up to leave, then he stood up. He asked me to give him a hug. I gave him a hug, and he started kissing me. I let him kiss me, and the kissing continued. Then he took off his pants, and that's when I tried to back up and leave. And that's when he started to choke me." She followed that up by saying, "Kobe proceeded to take off his pants, and he was trying to grab my hand and make me touch him down there." She then followed that up by saying, "Kobe threw her over the couch and penetrated her forcibly as she pleaded him to stop. And he continuously said, while he was penetrating her, 'You're not going to tell anyone.'" Then she claims the sex lasted for about 5 minutes and Kobe got off of her and wouldn't allow her to leave, unless she fixed her hair and washed her face before leaving. Kobe then apparently said to her, "This is just between the two of us. Nobody's going to know about this. You're not going to tell anybody." After that, the accuser immediately left and she immediately went home. The following morning, she went to the hospital to get a rape kit and contacted authorities. The medical examiner determined that the accuser had several lacerations near her vaginal area and she had a bruise on her neck. The next day, the police actually pulled up on Kobe and decided to question him at 11 o'clock at night the next day. So, after police were questioning Kobe Bryant was interrogated constantly, and it's documented, and I quote, Kobe says, "She showed me around the pool, she showed me around, we went to my room, she showed me the back view where the bears come up to the window, and that's about fucking it." In fact, Kobe even said, and I quote, "Is there like any way that we could like settle this?" Claiming that, you know, he didn't want his wife to find out about the serious allegations. So he was trying to apparently negotiate about trying to settle things with the police. And they do have him on record saying that. Now, following that, Kobe was then asked about sexual encounters with the 19-year-old girl. He was frequently asked, "Did you have any sexual encounter with this girl at all, consensual or not?" Kobe frequently denied that any sexual things even happened between the two of them. Yes, Kobe denied 3 times that he even had sex with this woman. After he lied, the police later informed him, "Well, we ended up getting her to submit a rape kit and we have a physical exam that proves your semen was found inside of the woman." So therefore, Kobe was kind of caught. So he had no choice but to come clean about sexual encounters that he did have with the 19-year-old girl. And then Kobe eventually came clean and then he admitted to sleeping with her. But according to Kobe, he said, and I quote, "It was 100% consensual." Kobe was then ordered to give a DNA sample and the clothes he wore the night of the alleged incident. The forensic lab later found samples of the victim's blood on Kobe's shirt. Not only that, they found his semen inside of her, which later tried to prove their point of him having sex with her and probably penetrating her. And they also pointed out the lacerations on her vaginal area, and Kobe was eventually taken in and arrested for alleged sexual assault and was held for $25,000 bond, and news quickly made the public. The news quickly hit the media, and the whole world was talking about this. The whole world was talking about this specifically because, if you guys didn't know, the R. Kelly thing was starting to get popping back in the day. You know, the whole R. Kelly scandal was starting to get popping back in the early 2000s, and a lot of people were starting to talk about the allegations of him peeing on a younger girl. So from there, Kobe was really the most talked about person on the planet back in the year 2003, and the media was waiting for him to make a statement. Throughout all the controversies, Kobe lost several endorsement deals. He lost his multi-million-dollar deal with Nike, McDonald's, Nutella, and Spalding. 3 weeks after the allegations, Kobe and his attorney and his wife Vanessa Bryant held a news conference where they addressed the allegations, and they claimed at the Staples Center that Kobe was 100% innocent.
Kobe Bryant is innocent of the charges that were filed against him today. He stands falsely accused of an extremely serious crime, a crime that carries with it the potential of a life sentence. Is that what happened on June 30th, Eagle County, was a sexual encounter between two consenting adults.
So I sit down myself for making a mistake of adultery. I love my wife with all my heart, and I'm so sorry.
And best believe that Kobe's attorneys were playing no games. They made it clear that they were going to fight for Kobe's innocence regardless of what they had to do. Following that, the first thing Kobe's attorneys used against the accusers was the DNA that the examiners found in the 19-year-old's panties. Now, for those of you guys who didn't know, the examiners found another man's DNA in the woman's panties, because yes, they did do a rape kit, but they also analyzed the panties that she was wearing the night she took her rape kit separately. And it turns out she had sexual encounters with somebody probably at least 24 hours within the same period she allegedly had a sexual encounter with Kobe. The media found out about this and immediately put it out.
Point in this litigation is beyond me. I just don't understand their tactics. If they would have waited until they got to trial to disclose what they have, the lead detective would be like a fish out of water, because a prosecutor can't rehabilitate once a witness is already sworn in on the witness stand. They can't have any contact with the witness. So I don't understand why the defense is disclosing whatever ammunition and information they have to show that this complaining witness is not credible. I think they made a bad mistake by not waiving.
Kobe Bryant accused of rape. Let's just go ahead and let all the proof be given before we are so quick to prejudge what actually happened. We weren't there.
Just a question. That's interesting.
That's a great comment, Linda, by your audience. The problem he's got is he's not only got to wage the litigation in the courtroom, he's also got to wage the war in the media, because so much of what the media says in his image is dependent upon his contracts and his endorsement deals. So it goes a lot further than what just happens in the courtroom, Linda.
There was literally Kobe and another man's DNA found in her. So you can see why a lot of people started to not believe her story, and why a lot of people immediately started to side with Kobe when all this came out. And from there, her story kind of wasn't adding up. Not only that, the victim claimed that she threw on a dirty pair of panties, which is why another man's DNA was found in her. Now, that is a little bit questionable, because, I mean, it is possible that she could have put on some dirty panties from a time where she had a quickie with somebody else. But at the same time, I'm very skeptical about that, because I don't know. You know, it's kind of weird, because usually when you do have to take a rape kit, they normally tell you that you have to wear the exact same thing that you had on that night. According to the 19-year-old white woman's past hospital records, it was revealed that she had a nasty history of trying to commit suicide. She also had a very terrible pill addiction, and she also had a very strange habit of trying to overdose on pills several times before the Kobe incident. Once the public caught wind of this, her credibility went lower and lower and lower, and her identity was leaked to the public several times. People were showing up to her house. People were also mailing her hate letters, because Kobe Bryant is a very notable guy. You know, we see him all over television. He was all over, PlayStation games. He was a really big deal. So a lot of people were trying to stick by him. And realistically, we live in a world where people are more so going to believe the person with the bigger fan base, because for some reason, the bigger fan base means the most credibility. And as her credibility started to go down, Kobe started to garner almost all his endorsement deals back. He got his endorsement with Spalding back. He also got his endorsement with Nike back. Kobe's attorney, Pamela Mackey, discovered that the accuser was taking an antipsychotic drug for treatment of schizophrenia at the time. So I know a lot of people who are sexual assault victims watching this. Some of you guys might have a slight bit bias towards this, because a lot of people probably wouldn't have believed you, or when you told people, they probably didn't believe you either. But at the same time, we kind of have to look at both sides, because we live in a world where we have the Me Too movement, and then we have demons trying to walk their way in to be a part of that for their own benefit and for sympathy. Poof! Guess what happened? 14 months later, yes, it took literally the entire year for investigators to get all the information, all the details. In fact, it also cost over $200,000 to set up this whole jury. Now, long story short, as they were awaiting the trial, the victim, 14 months later, decided to drop out. She decided that she did not want to testify in front of a grand jury. The entire world was actually shocked, flabbergasted, and relieved, because if you really want justice, why not pursue testifying? Towards the end of the year, 14 months later, she decided to file a civil lawsuit, even though she refused to testify in front of a grand jury. Kobe then paid her off. She then decided to file a civil lawsuit for Kobe to pay her for pain and suffering, and Kobe's team eventually settled with her in March of 2005 with a non-disclosure agreement. So, yes, Kobe ended up paying this woman off. And to this day, no one really has any idea how much Kobe's team really paid her. We have to keep in mind, Kobe was a very powerful man. You never know the kind of power somebody possesses, especially when they have money. And money talks. We all do know that she did sign a non-disclosure agreement and everything was settled out of court. Kobe wasn't found innocent, and I don't think it's safe to say that he was innocent or guilty despite her story being very detailed. Now, I do think it's safe to say that the case was dismissed. And in my personal opinion, if you really want justice and if something really happened for you, why do you want to be silenced with money? Why do you want to be silenced with deals? Why are you being silenced with this non-disclosure agreement? I understand sometimes money can help people forget about the pain, but in my personal opinion, if you were willing to go public for so long, for over 13 months, and then the 14th month, when we're creeping at 2004, by the start of 2005, then you decide, okay, I want some money, I'm going to file a civil lawsuit, and then Kobe just willingly gives money. I don't know about y'all, but the average person that doesn't do anything wrong, I'm not giving anybody any money. Because in my personal opinion, I don't care if I'm getting blamed for breaking something, doing this, smashing something, or stealing something, I'm not paying anybody shit. Period. If I didn't do it, then I'm not paying you. Because you do see a consistent pattern of many people, especially celebrities, settling cases that involve sexual misconduct out of court. And in my opinion, I see two things wrong with the whole story regarding Kobe. Because, once again, he did lie to the cops about even sleeping with her several times. Examples that, remind me of Kobe is the Michael Jackson case. Now, of course, Michael Jackson was found innocent, but believe it or not, Michael Jackson wasn't found innocent in all of his cases. All his cases that he fought, he was found innocent in. But there were other cases where Michael Jackson paid off certain families to leave him the fuck alone. But then again, at the same time, I have to understand that there is a consistent pattern of white women lying on Michael Jackson, lying on all these celebrity men, lying on all these people. You see so many white women in particular always lying on men. And then you had the situation with Emmett Till, which is a really sad story. Chris Brown was recently accused of sexual misconduct with a woman about 9-10 months ago, and she found out to be lying. So there's just a consistent pattern of white women lying on black men, because it just has a negative connotation to it. And a lot of times the media goes crazy when a white girl is allegedly sexually assaulted or has allegedly been raped, but no one ever goes crazy when a young little black girl gets sexually assaulted or raped, or when a young Latina or a young woman of color in general gets assaulted. It's always when a young little white girl gets attacked, that's when the whole media is just like, believe it or not, this isn't the first time Kobe Bryant was held accountable. Sexual allegations have been brought up several times. If you guys didn't know, back in 2018, when Kobe Bryant got his first Oscar, he was literally being criticized and scrutinized because he got an Oscar for his documentary Dear Basketball, and the whole world, especially Twitter and the Me Too movement, was like, how can an alleged rapist win an Oscar? That's fucked up. It was so bad, and the entire world was talking about his sexual allegations again because he won a damn Oscar. But I find it funny how a lot of my selective outraged Twitter users never keep the same energy with Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley was honored at the Grammys, but I don't see anybody saying anything. And Elvis Presley allegedly married a 14-year-old girl. Matter of fact, not even allegedly. He married a fucking 14-year-old girl. Let's keep the same energy here. Some of y'all have selective outrage, especially when it comes to powerful black men. If you don't like black people, bitch, you should just say so. And I hate to have to say this, but because of the Me Too movement rapid growth, you feel conditioned to have to believe everybody. You feel like you have to believe everybody. Every time I make a video speaking about the whole R. Pissy situation and talking about his victims, people always hit me with the whole, oh my god, why are you questioning the victims? I would hate when you have to question me. I've had people DM me, email me, and tell me I don't like when you question victims. You shouldn't do that because I'm a victim of it. It's just like, at the end of the day, people are allowed to question everything. And after the case was dismissed, Kobe released a public apology. So back in 2004, when the case was dismissed because the victim refused to testify, Kobe issued an apology saying, "First, I want to apologize directly to the young woman involved in the incident. I want to apologize to her for my behavior that night and for the consequences she has suffered in the past year. Although this year has been incredibly difficult for me personally, I can only imagine the pain she had to endure. I also want to apologize to her parents and family members, and to my family and friends and supporters, and to the citizens of Eagle, Colorado. I also want to make it clear that I do not question the motives of this young woman. No money has been paid to this woman. She has agreed that this statement will not be issued against a civil case. Although I truly believe this encounter between us was consensual, I recognize now that she did not and does not view the incident the same way I did. After months of reviewing discovery, listening to her attorney, and even her testimony in person, I now understand how she feels, and she did not consent to the encounter." But it also tells me that maybe something did happen. You know, why say I thought it was consensual, she didn't feel that way? But I don't know. A lot of this isn't adding up to me. I'm questioning everybody in the situation. And I know Gayle King is out here crying, and Oprah's crying, and like, oh my god, they're calling us coons. But it's just like, come on now. Like, you have to understand, how do you think his family feels when you guys are out here trying to demonize this man? How do you think Snoop Dogg feels? Now, don't get me wrong. Snoop Dogg is wrong as hell for threatening Gayle, yes.
Tarnish my motherfucking homeboy's reputation, punk motherfucker. Respect the family and back off, bitch, before we come get you.
But at the same time, how the fuck can we not, you know, look at Snoop Dogg, look where he's coming from. There's no excuse to threaten somebody. You don't threaten people. But at the same time, that's his friend. Kobe and Snoop Dogg were good friends. I know damn well if I had a friend who was accused of some fuck shit, and I didn't like the fact that the media was trying to paint them at this ugly picture when there's no justified proof to tear him down and paint him at this ugly picture, I'd be mad too, shit, especially because you see the interview was very biased and coerced. We're journalists, reporters, you guys have the power to control the narrative, period. As a journalist and as someone who works in the media and talks about people, you know that whatever bleeds sticks. Anything that's controversial sticks. She put Kobe Bryant in the title. She attached Kobe Bryant to it because she wanted ratings. No one really talks about Lisa Leslie anymore. Lisa Leslie is a private woman. She's a 47-year-old retired WNBA player and now a coach. She's not in the media anymore. But obviously, Gayle King attached Kobe to it because I'm sure her team of white employers decided to tell her to ask those particular questions in order to get in some ratings, because you know how CBS gets down, but that's another video. So do I believe the victim? Do I believe that they did something? I'm going to leave that up to y'all. Y'all believe something happened? Based off of what I'm telling y'all, what I'm reporting, do y'all believe something happened? I'm genuinely asking, because in my personal opinion, I'm going to have to say, I don't know. But Kobe and his accuser, damn sure ain't innocent. And even after the allegations, he did continue to cheat on her. You know, he even cheated on his wife with Trina. But let's just put it this way. I'm very neutral with everything. Because the victim decided to back away, give the victim hush money, and settle, I'm very skeptical about the both of their side of the story. But at the same time, like we said, Kobe ain't here to defend himself. We can hold him accountable, but at the same time, we can't demonize something that was already done with and over back in 2003. If you're going to interview somebody about Kobe's allegations, the least you could have done was interview Kobe's friends, his entourage who were there. Try to find the victim and interview her, which I'm sure they're not going to even give you an interview, so why bring this up? You know, as far as the allegations, we'll never really know what happened in that room that night of June 30th. 85% of the times, the only way you can put a rapist away or get a rapist put away or put down, there has to be at least two things. At least two things to get a rapist down. One, somebody has to at least witness the rape, or two, there has to be surveillance footage. And 9 times out of 10, there's never surveillance footage and there's never a witness for a rape. Or at least when there is a witness for a rape, these witnesses aren't bold enough to testify and help you. And that normally goes out the window, hence why at least 58% of rape cases are normally thrown out and dismissed. And it's sad, but it's reality. And the only thing we can all do is to educate women and educate men about staying safe and knowing your surroundings. Be very particular about who you're alone with in a room. Invest into things like pepper spray, get some brass knuckles. And I know a lot of you guys are out of the country and some of you guys probably can't legally walk around with pepper spray. So I recommend getting something called bear mace. Bear mace is a good thing to have and to carry around because it's that shit will basically knock out anyone in the fucking room and give you time to run. And that shit will burn like hell to the point where someone would need to go to the hospital in order to get an antidote. People need to be aware of their surroundings, protect themselves, and not be alone with people that you don't even trust. If you don't know where they live, who they are, their first and last name, and who their friends and siblings are, I don't think it's right to be alone in a room with somebody that you don't trust like that. Especially when you're just meeting them for the first time. It's a little bit skeptical to be in somebody's bedroom when you don't even know them. Very skeptical, especially since it was 11 o'clock at night. Who knows if Kobe was probably drinking that night and probably barely remembers it. Who knows if she was on her pain medication and did something that maybe led him on. Who knows? At the end of the day, it all comes down to people holding themselves accountable for their actions. At the same time, it doesn't give a lot of men the excuse of assaulting women. I'm always skeptical about the victims who run for a check but don't run to the law. Keep the same energy, my loves. And that's all the community's asking. And I think I speak for everyone in the black community when I say keep the same energy with your white counterparts. Footage doesn't lie. People do. Gayle don't speak for me. She don't speak for the black community. And I don't understand why people hold Gayle and Oprah at this pedestal. Like I said early in this video, people like Oprah have a nasty history since the early 90s and 80s of exploiting, belittling, and villainizing black men of power. But that's another video and another conversation that a lot of people aren't ready for. That was that for this video. I hope you guys really enjoyed this breakdown. And I really wanted to give this breakdown specifically because I look all over YouTube for somebody to break down the Kobe Bryant case, but literally no one has done it. And I'm doing it specifically because a lot of you guys are probably still confused about the case. Some of you guys might want to know details about it. And realistically, a lot of people don't know the full legalities or the logistics of the whole situation. So I just wanted to come out here and break it down. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video and you guys want more other criminal breakdowns, shit, I might as well do it. If you guys want other documentaries, comment them down below. More real content is coming back on this channel. A lot of you guys keep asking me where the documentary's at. They're back. I got plenty more on your favorite shows, on your favorite celebrities who disappeared out the limelight, and so much more nostalgic content. But yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to my podcast, Time Out with Choice, where I talk about other pop culture things and a whole bunch of other crazy ass, insane ass stories. Subscribe to my podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Google Play. Make sure you guys join my Patreon. My Patreon is as low as $2. It's Choice TV. Just download the Patreon app and search up Choice TV and you'll find it. And yeah, make sure you guys put that card marshal link because like I said, I get paid per click and per commission. If you guys can't support me any other way, you can support me by clicking the card marshal link because I get paid per commission and per click. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the love and support. And yeah, that's that. Choice out this bitch. And I'm gonna go fuck up my fruits. Leave Kobe the fuck alone.